It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we're going to be showing you a beer from Duvel as part of their 150th anniversary. They brought out a brand new beer called Duvel 6.66% ABV in a 330 milliliter bottle. Belgian stumpy bottle. Here's the bottle cap. There you go. I've not drunk a bottle of Duvel since the Man vs Beer that we tried to drink 10 bottles of Duvel last summer. First Duvel beer in 6 months for me. So here we go. I'm looking forward to this brand new beer. It's been brewed with Noble and Saz hops. And some Styrian Goldings as well. So 3 classic hop varieties used in this beer. You've got that classic Belgian head that gets created when you pour a good Belgian beer. I've actually been to the Duvel Moortgat brewery, struck up a fantastic relationship with the guys over there. Drank some of their beer. While I was in the brewery, they were actually also not just producing beer, but they had a selection of dried meats, and they were also producing cheese as well. So not just a brewer, they produced cheese and meats as well. I mean, perfect, didn't it? Absolutely perfect. Crack open a Duvel, get yourself a bit of cheese from Duvel, get yourself a bit of meat from Duvel. The Belgians, they know how to live. They really do. Off the top of my head, I do forget the town where they're from. I remember visiting the city and going, they had a good football team back in the 80s. I'm thinking Angela, is it? Angela, maybe. We'll get to that later on. Let's get to the beer then. Straw, light, amber coloured. 3-finger, white, pillowy type head. Good levels of carbonation. Let's get the aroma. I'm really looking forward to this one. Smells really good. Well, really fresh. It's a brand new beer. Lots of grain. Lots of biscuit, lots of light wafer biscuit aromas. Almost slightly worty in its quality. You get the Styrian Goldings, you get the Noble, you get the Saz hops. 3 absolutely classic hops. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Ho 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 ho! Wow! Wow! Stone the crows! Stone the crows! What a fabulous beer! Ooh. Where do I start with this? I'm going to start with the carbonation. Carbonation hisses and fizzes and forces the beer around the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. The flavour then goes on to that light crisp. It's really crisp, really drinkable, really refreshing beer. And then you're hit with a barrage, literally a barrage of hops. They speak about dry hopping with this beer. Oh, it's so good. Lemon, slight tangerine flavours, bit of grapefruit, bitterness, a spiciness, a pepperiness coming through. But overall, the drinkability of this beer is just amazing. This is a step up in terms of hop profile from a regular Duvel. It's got a really unique, grainy, slight porridgey, biscuity, worty aroma. If you ever lived in a city as a kid growing up, and the city had a brewery inside the city, in my case it was Brain's Brewery in Cardiff. We used to go shopping into Cardiff when I was a kid, and I always used to ask my dad. I seem to ask him every week, what was this? What's that kind of porridgey smell? Never liked it back as a kid. Never liked the kind of worty, porridgey kind of aromas that a brewery gave off. And he'd say that's the brewers over there brewing the beer, but it would pass down the arcades. You would smell the wort in the arcades. The shopping arcades, the wort would be floating. Can you imagine that this day and age? This day and age, walking down a shopping arcade, smelling the wort from beer. It's just an incredible experience. I mean, that brewery has since moved out of the city centre, and it almost feels like the city centre has lost some of its charm. It really does. But this beer reminds me of that kind of wort quality in it. Really nicely balanced between the malt and the hops. Peppery, spicy, sweet and biscuity at the same time. Carbonation, as I mentioned earlier, pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. It is a superb beer. And as I roll this beer now in the glass and get the aroma, you really can. Now you're getting the full benefit of this beer. Being able to roll that beautiful liquid round in the glass. You get the full effects of the aroma, that spiciness, that pepperiness, that slight tangerine, orange, grapefruit aroma. Spiciness, pepperiness. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Do we have any English? Here we go. 666, a hell of a combination. Let yourself be swept away by the dance of the hop devils, inspired by the fruity aromas of the hops and a zest of orange. For me, that's the best Duvel beer that I've ever reviewed on the channel. That's a personal favourite of mine. It really is. If you're able to get this beer, they've been brewing beer since 1871. Duvel 666. I've got to find out where they... Just quickly for you. I'm sure it's something like Eindhoven or... I didn't quite say. It just says Brasserie Duvel Moortgat. Breen Donk Corp. Cinnamans. It didn't. I'm sure I arrived at I was something like Andover or what did I just say? It wasn't famous. Antwerp. I think it was Antwerp. Famous Belgian city. I remember they had a good football team back in the 90s. Anyway, rating for Duvel 666. Just love it. Just love it. For me, that's a Stone the Crows 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.